basic.
I know.
Just lost the tape there from the White House. The president had a listening session in the
important for our security. And I think the people overwhelmingly in the country want that as well too, because again, just today, the FBI comes out and says that 30% of their domestic terrorism cases that they're investigating are from folks who are refugees. It's important not to label all refugees bad people. That's not why I'm here. But
But largely, Hillary Clinton's comments here today, John, were based around the recent violence that we have seen, the police-involved shootings of black men in Minnesota, in Louisiana, and then the killing of white police officers by a black gunman in Dallas. That was really what she based her comments on around today. And remember, Hillary Clinton has some vulnerabilities herself, even as she calls for criminal justice reform because of her support in the 1990s for anti-crime legislation that ultimately helped contribute to this era of mass incarceration that she now speaks out again.
We just lost Breonna Keeler.
The question from Patrice was about, are you both modeling positive and appropriate behaviors for today's youth? We received a lot of questions online, Mr. Trump, about the tape that was released on Friday. As you can imagine, you called what you said locker room banter. You described kissing women without consent, grabbing their genitals. That is sexual assault. You bragged that you have sexually assaulted women. Do you understand that?
No, I didn't say that at all. I don't think you understood what was said. This was locker room talk. Vacuum that was left because of bad judgment. And I will tell you, I will take care of ISIS. So, Mr. Trump, we should get on to much more important things and much bigger things.
Just for the record, though, are you saying that what you said on that bus 11 years ago, that you did not actually kiss women without consent or grope women without consent?
I have great respect for women. Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
So for the record, you're saying you never did that?
Things that, frankly, you hear these things are said, and I was embarrassed by it, but I have tremendous respect for women.
Have you ever done those
women
things?
Have respect for me, and I will tell you, no, I have not, in every way possible. I'm going to help the African Americans. I'm going to help the Latinos, Hispanics. I am going to help the inner cities. She's done a terrible job for the African Americans. She wants their vote, and she does nothing, and then she comes back 4 years later. We saw that firsthand when she was a United States Senator. She campaigned where the
Mr. Trump, I want to get to audience questions and online questions.
So she's allowed to do that, but I'm not allowed to respond.
You're going to get to respond right now.
That sounds fair.
Checking because, you know, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
We want to remind the audience to please not talk out loud. Please do not applaud. You're just wasting time. To move on to an audience question.
Look, it's just not true, and so please
you
go
didn't delete them?
Allow her to respond, please.
Personal emails, not official.
33,000? Yeah.
Well, we turned over 35,000, so it was.
What about the other 15,000?
Please allow her to respond. She didn't talk while you talked.
Yes, that's true. I didn't.
Because you
I
have
didn't
nothing
in
to
the
say.
first debate about tonight. Let's get to their question.
We have a question here from Ken Karpowitz. He has a question about health care. Ken?
I'd like to know, Anderson, why aren't you bringing up the emails? I'd like to know. Why aren't you
We brought up the emails.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. And it hasn't been finished at all.
Ken Karpowitz has a question.
It's nice to 1 on 3. Thank you. Judgment. This is a perfect example of it. Trying to save Obamacare, which is.
You've said you want to end Obamacare. You've said you want to end Obamacare. You've also said you want to make coverage accessible for people with pre-existing conditions. How do you force insurance companies to do that if you're no longer mandating that every American get insurance?
You're going to have plans.
What does that mean?
Well, I'll tell you what it means.
War, largely, I believe, because of Russian aggression. We have it on tape. The entire press corps has looked at it. It's been debunked, but it never stops him from saying whatever he wants to say.
Has not been debunked.
So please
has not been debunked. And
go to HillaryClinton.com and you can see it.
I was against the war in Iraq. Has not been debunked. And you voted for it, and you shouldn't have. Well, I just want to
There's been lots of fact-checking on that. I'd like to move on to an online question.
She just went about 25 seconds over her time. Could I just respond to this, please?
Very quickly, please.
The chance to respond. I just want to tell our viewers what she's referring to. In the last month, taxes were the #1 issue on Facebook for the first time in the campaign. The New York Times published 3 pages of your 1995 tax returns. They show you claimed a $916 million loss, which means you could have avoided paying personal federal income taxes for years. You've said you pay state taxes, employee taxes, real estate taxes, property taxes. You have not answered, though, a simple question. Did you use that $916 million loss to avoid paying personal federal income taxes for years?
Of course I do. Of course I do. And so do all of her donors, or most of her donors. I know many of her donors. Her donors took massive tax write-offs.
So have you not paid personal federal income tax?
A lot of my write-off was depreciation and other things that Hillary, as a senator, allowed. And she'll always allow it because the people that give her all this money, they want it. That's why. See, I understand the tax code better than anybody that's ever run for president. If you were an effective senator, you could have done it. If you were an effective senator, you could have done it. But you were not an effective.
Please allow her to respond. She didn't interrupt you.
You know, under our Constitution, results for
Thank
people.
you, Secretary.
We're going to move on to Syria. Both of you have mentioned that.
She said a lot of things.
I
mean, I think we should
We
be
can,
allowed
no,
to maybe
Mr. Trump, we're going to go on. This is about the audience.
Disaster as a senator.
Mr. Trump, we're going to move on.
That we take Raqqa after pushing ISIS out of Iraq.
Thank you very much. We're going to
You know,
move
it's funny,
on.
she went over a minute over, and you don't stop her. When I go 1 second over, it's like
You
a
had
big deal.
many answers.
It's really very interesting.
We've got a question over here from...
But by doing all the others favors, she's doing me favors.
Mr. Trump, thank you.
But I will tell you, she's all talk. It doesn't get done. All you have to do is take a look at her Senate run. Take a look at upstate New York.
Your 2 minutes is up. Secretary Clinton,
It turned out
2
to
minutes.
be a disaster.
So, if taken on its face, as purported in the documentary, it would go to the suggestion that Mike Brown wasn't there to steal. He was there to do a transaction which may or may not have been legal. What's your take on that?
Well, that's first of all, that's very important. What Jason said is very important. I spent a lot of time on the ground in Ferguson for my book, Nobody. And there's a ton of suggestion that the store was shady, that illegal things were going on in the store. So there tends to be evidence to support that. One of the things that it speaks to is Mike Brown's character. I remember a year ago I said, Darren Wilson didn't know Mike Brown had been accused of stealing from the store. And you said to me, yeah, but in Mike Brown's mind, he thought he was being stopped for that if he in fact stole from the store. Well, this suggests that maybe even in Mike Brown's mind, he didn't have that intent, he didn't have that expectation. So it informs our understanding of what may have happened between Darren Wilson and Mike Brown. But at the end of the day, regardless of what happened in the store, there's another bigger question lingering, which is still, did Darren Wilson have to kill Mike Brown? I've always said no, and this actually speaks to that, I think.
Well, right. We have to unpack several different things here, Harry, because they did an investigation of this, and they wound up clearing the officer. So it's not a lingering question in terms of the police are concerned, but should it be in light...
a lingering question.
Well, Jason, I get that it's a lingering question for you. I'm not saying it's not a question. I'm saying it has been
It's not just a lingering question for me, Chris. It's a lingering question for a lot of people.
Understood.
Jason,
I'm just talking
let
about
somebody else get in and talk about it.
Hold on a second.
All right?
I take your point, Jason. I'm just saying investigatively. I'm just trying to keep us straight on what the fact pattern is here. It's been looked at. He was cleared. But what do you make of the suggestion that there's more there than the reckoning of how Mike Brown was painted and what led up to the altercation?
It still shows him as a drug dealer anyway, if this is true. You know,
How?
if they're... Well, Mr. Pollack basically said that he was giving marijuana, right, to the... for cigarillos, right?
That doesn't mean
that's what he said. No, I'm not
a drug dealer. Even if that's
it's a drug deal, Chris. It's a drug deal. Doesn't matter how it's done. If I give you drugs for something, that's a drug deal.
Right.
You go to jail.
Right, but it doesn't make him a drug dealer. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it basically
Don Brooke.
Hi guys.
Hola.
Happy almost New Year.
Oh boy.
We're at the Spotted Cat. The time has almost arrived.
Okay, tell them what's going to happen. I'm going to get something.
So we've invited our new friend Chris over, and Chris clearly has much ink. And the decision all night has been, should it be a tattoo or a piercing? I mean, what are you thinking? The people want to know what crazy, silly.
Let me ask. Kathy. I think Kathy Anderson might
ask Kathy.
steer me
Kathy
wrong.
Griffin,
Kathy,
come
what
back
should
in.
I do?
Nipple.
Huh?
Is this gonna hurt?
It's not gonna hurt me. You'll be fine.
This is seriously about to happen.
Don't get blood on my jacket.
Do you need to hold my hands?
Yeah.
Oh,
this hurts. I'm gonna
Lord.
be so
Is your
mad.
mother watching?
Yeah.
I bet your mom is.
Oh,
Mama
boy.
Lemon, I don't know what he's thinking.
All right, hold on.
At
Here
least
we
it's
go.
just his ear. You know what I'm saying?
Here we go, bro.
Here we go. Oh, God.
Don't get blood in the jacket. It has to go back. It goes back to Brooks Brothers.
Here we go. Here's the needle. Here's the needle.
Wait, we haven't corroborated any of this. It's not on this network, I would point out.
Thank you. Well, folks, I know you've been here a long time, and it's been a long night, and it's been a long campaign. But I could say we can wait a little longer, can't we? They're still counting votes, and every vote should count. Several states are too close to call, so we're not going to have anything more to say tonight. So listen to me. Everybody should head home. You should get some sleep. We'll have more to say tomorrow. I want you to know, I want every person in this hall to know, and I want every person across the country who supported Hillary to know that your voices and your enthusiasm means so much to her and to Tim and to all of us.
I always live my life to the very fullest. And
Yes, you do.
The thing is, I need a little bit more balance in work life. I may be open to a relationship this year. I wasn't before.
Breaking news: Don Lemon is open to a relationship.
Actually, being available to be in a relationship. I'm a bad person to date. I'm not selfish. I'm not selfish. I'll give you my last, but I'm very self-centered. Yeah. I'm not going to be as self-centered.
You're going to be less self-centered in 2017.
Yeah, but I don't really do resolutions, and I live my life to the fullest. I don't care what people think about me. I do what I want because it's my life. That had a big head on it. So I can't hear anything.
I can't hear a damn thing. It doesn't matter.
I know. So
seriously, having a moment.
2016 was awful.